this is an industry that when it gets unlazy, it has to come up with a term. So we're going to call data clean rooms. First of all, if data is under privacy restrictions, you can't share it. I don't know any context that you can't share it. To create a clean room where it's now all of a sudden available because you paid a premium is kind of like if you pay enough money to do the work, we'll start to share and tell you some things. What are we talking about? I mean, so when I was sitting at round tables listening to people, the main thing was coming away from is that they're very and highly inconclusive. When I ask them, what about clean rooms for the sake of multicultural, they're like, ah, forget about it. 2 years, 3 years from now, I'm like, what are we even talking about? And look, you hear like the term curation. I'm like, oh, so we're going to start curating supply? We were supposed to curate supply. Like we were doing that in 2000, 2005, when the only thing you could buy was a few websites, and you literally had to send the client over a list of the sites manually, and it'd be like 50 domains. But you had to go find them and discover them. And when I start to look at these terms, I'm like, what term is next? That's going to be the business saying, okay, we're getting unlazy. We now have a term. We're calling this, and we're now all going to do it. The data clean room has kind of vanished. Like you don't hear it being talked about. And some of it was, well, how necessary was it to create a clean room? And it looked like it was something that was a pursuit of, and then you find out that a lot of brands can afford it because they weren't spending enough money. Like we know what that game is. You should there shouldn't be payola for data clean rooms and consumer intelligence and understanding. So in my early part of this podcast, talking about connecting signals, it's like, look, if you take the value chain and turn on all the things you could bolt on as inputs, even for an incremental CPM, as signals, and then you take signals from third-party companies outside the value chain, make them adjacent, start connecting them, interlocking them, you have all the intelligence you need, in particular when you're talking about products that sell at retail. Between the contextual targeting, the behavioral targeting, AI code on page intelligence, location data targeting, transaction data, intent data, sentiment data, search intent data, social word of mouth data. I mean, once you cover all the human behaviors that say it walks like and quacks like a duck, do we really need a data clean room for $3 million to get in to see some semblance of the same thing? Like, there's enough information that can be weaponized to be dangerous. People just aren't doing it because they don't like the incremental cost structure, which is nominal, or it cuts into their margin, or they're just inherently lazy. But the idea of moving from a data management platform, the second generation of DSPs, that they would manage data because you have first party data, zero party data, third party data, to a customer data platform, which really is CRM like, but for display, powered by programmatic. So not just for email and maybe text messaging, but for the entire full stack ecosystem. So if you're really creating a consumer data platform, you don't need a data clean room. That's just like, hey, we got to take this and go into this box over here and really unpack it. No, the information would be in the value chain at the base structure of the technology stack with all the inputs, and we're pulling it apart and optimizing in real time. You don't have time to stop for a data clean room. The machine and the people will be doing it like this. And I think that's the thing about that when I start looking at the terminology and the hype and data clean rooms is that if you were doing the things in the value chain that were already afforded to you and necessary, you would need to come up with these factions over here of like a data